This is the ward. This is the hospital. The place caving. Ward 7 West Bay.
Me hungry. Me thirsty. Me not no water. Everything mash up. Me 6 burners, 2 of me 3 bed. Everything mash up.
Terrible money. Oh God, it's terrible. We never seen nothing like this before.
Yeah, this is the story scheme. Underwater. After the wicked Hurricane Melissa.
We want to come help. We're so sorry what's happened, but we need it to be orderly, okay?
Yeah.
So we know where you guys are. We know that you need help. Yeah. All right?
Jamaica is facing a moment unlike anything in its modern history, and today the numbers coming out of Kingston are sending shockwaves across the entire Caribbean. Prime Minister Andrew Holness has confirmed that Hurricane Melissa, now officially the strongest storm ever recorded to strike Jamaica, delivered such catastrophic damage that the cost is equivalent to nearly 1/3 of the nation's entire GDP. A figure so staggering that even veteran economists are calling it unreal. But behind those numbers are the faces of everyday Jamaicans who watched their homes, farms, and livelihoods disappear in a matter of hours, while the storm's death toll climbed steadily across the region. And with scientists warning that Melissa pushed the upper limits of what is physically possible in the Atlantic Ocean, fueled by sea temperatures that experts say they have never seen before, authorities fear that this disaster may be more than a national crisis. It may be a global warning that extreme weather has entered a terrifying new era. Yet, as devastating as these early numbers are, what we discovered next reveals a much deeper story, one that touches every corner of the Caribbean and exposes the true scale of Melissa's destructive power. Marshall Nontesau.
Man, you always cover under the dirt. The man always see the right and the local part, the right there, so, and everything gone down. See there? See there, people?
I never seen nothing like this yet. Never in my life.
When Prime Minister Holness delivered his emergency address, the chamber fell silent as he revealed that the financial blow from Hurricane Melissa could reach between $6 billion and $7 billion, a number representing roughly 28% to 32% of last year's GDP. In other words, nearly 1/3 of Jamaica's entire annual economic output vanished in the span of one storm, making this not just a natural disaster but a national economic emergency. On top of that, short-term projections show the country could see an immediate drop in economic output by 8% to 13%, a plunge that would normally take years to unfold. Homes were ripped apart, roads crumbled into rivers, power lines snapped like twigs, and businesses along the tourism corridor, one of the nation's largest revenue engines, were left buried under debris. Holness described the event as on the very edge of what's physically possible. And with large sections of the island still without communication, experts warn the damage may be even worse than initially reported. And if you think those numbers are alarming, what researchers said about how Melissa formed is even more unsettling. Scientists examining Hurricane Melissa's formation say the storm intensified with a speed and ferocity that defied historical patterns, with one expert noting that it sat at the boundary of physical possibility. Fueled by some of the hottest sea temperatures ever recorded in the Atlantic, Melissa rapidly strengthened into a monster system whose winds were so powerful that seismographs hundreds of miles away actually registered its passage as if the Earth itself were reacting. Meteorologists point to greenhouse gas-warmed oceans as the energy source behind this unprecedented leap in storm strength, warning that the Caribbean is now entering an era where extreme cyclones can form faster, hit harder, and behave in ways scientists once believed impossible. The storm's unusual intensity even left researchers questioning whether traditional forecasting models can keep up with these new hypercharged systems. Yet while the science behind Melissa is chilling, the human cost of what happened beyond Jamaica's shores reveals an even darker chapter. Across the Caribbean, the confirmed death toll has now reached 75, including 43 lives lost in Haiti and 32 in Jamaica, with officials warning that these numbers may continue to climb as rescue teams reach isolated areas. Haiti, which was not directly hit by the hurricane's center, endured days of relentless rain that transformed rivers into raging floods and sent entire neighborhoods underwater. In one Haitian town alone, 25 people died, 10 of them children, and authorities say nearly 12,000 homes were flooded, roads vanished beneath mud, and thousands of families lost access to drinking water. The rainfall battered communities already struggling with instability, turning an already fragile situation into a humanitarian emergency. The tragedy has renewed desperate calls for international support, but with damaged infrastructure and limited resources, Haiti's recovery is expected to be long and painful. Meanwhile, back in Jamaica, new reports reveal that dozens of communities remain completely unreachable, setting the stage for the next urgent battle. As teams attempt to restore access across the island, Prime Minister Holness confirmed that more than 30 Jamaican communities are still cut off from the rest of the country due to collapsed bridges, destroyed roads, and landslides that buried entire stretches of highway. Response teams are struggling with shortages of helicopters, social workers, medical personnel, and engineers, leaving many residents waiting for aid, water, and basic supplies. In some areas, rescue teams have had to hike for hours through unstable terrain just to reach stranded families who haven't had electricity or clean water since the storm hit. The tourism sector, responsible for employing tens of thousands, has also been devastated, with reports that many workers are suddenly jobless as hotels, restaurants, and attractions along the island's key tourism corridor suffered severe damage. Farmers, too, are reporting total losses, and with the agricultural heartland already recovering from Hurricane Beryl, Melissa could push food prices even higher. Yet the economic fallout is only part of the crisis, because the government itself is now taking extraordinary measures to keep the country afloat. Across the Caribbean, it's estimates that Hurricane Melissa caused between $48 billion and $52 billion in damage, ranking it among the most economically devastating storms in the region's history. Cuba, though spared the worst of the wind, evacuated hundreds of thousands as Melissa approached, yet still suffered severe damage to homes, crops, and infrastructure. Caribbean leaders are now intensifying their long-standing calls for climate reparations and debt relief, arguing that nations least responsible for global emissions are paying the highest price. The scale of destruction has reignited urgent debates on climate justice, regional preparedness, and the widening gap between small island nations and industrial polluters. And as researchers warn that storms like Melissa may become more common, one message has become painfully clear. This was not just a Caribbean disaster, it was a global alarm bell. Melissa has forever changed Jamaica, reshaped the region, and forced the world to confront a future where storms strike harder, faster, and with consequences that no nation can afford to ignore.